Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and today's video is going to be a fun one. In today's video, we're going to the Great League, where we've got battles submitted by a member of the community, Shift Treason. Shift is going hunting for Furret in the Great League, trying to triple hard counter it with a triple glass cannon, triple fighter team. Bullet Punch Lucario as the lead, Primeape as the safe switch, and Pangoro as the closer. Now it goes without saying, this is a team for fun, this is not a team for climbing, but these battles are absolutely electric. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and let's go triple fighters. Hopping to the first match, and our target has been acquired, Lucario into Furret. Opponent safe switches into Corviknight in this matchup, but the good news for Shift is that switch advantage is not going to matter in this game, because no matter where it's aligned, Furret's going to have nowhere to run. Aura Sphere, absolutely devastating damage to the Corviknight. Lucario puts up the shield, but could regret it as a boost comes out from the Corviknight. Even a boosted Air Cutter will not knock out, but it's going to do a ton of damage. Air Cutter lands, opponent gets a second boost, they stop tapping. I guess they want farm on whatever's in the back, but that is a very risky play. I think they should have thrown at least a few sand attacks there, because then they wouldn't have to take 3 charge attacks on this Clodsire, because this Primeape already has back-to-back moves. Maybe the opponent wasn't expecting Ice Punch, but this play, they're going to exit with a ton of energy, but they lose so much HP on this Clodsire. And now this should be a pretty straightforward win of just sacrificing the Lucario to an Earthquake, and then Pangoro with a shield will be able to sweep. In comes Lucario, the opponent's plan pays off as they will get the knockout, but in comes Pangoro, and there's just nowhere for that Furret to run in the back. In comes Pangoro, opponent sees the writing on the wall, and concedes the match. We move to the next match, leading Lucario into Corsola. Primeape safe switch unanswered by the opponent, and Primeape is going to strike first on perfect charge attack timing with the Rage Fist. Rage Fist lands, no shield comes out from the opponent. They're going to stay in this matchup at minimum to grab a shield with Nightshade. There's the pivot out, in comes Shadow Scizor, and this is a very big problem for Primeape. Primeape only taking neutral damage, but these bullet punches absolutely delete the Primeape, and in comes Lucario. Lucario is going to be resisting both charge attacks from the Shadow Scizor. Trailblaze still does big damage. Can Lucario get a farm down? It looks like the answer is no, and a beautiful catch, catching the boosted Night Slash onto Pangoro, where it's going to be double resisted. That does absolutely nothing. That bullet punch does add up. In the back is Shadow Empoleon, and Pangoro is looking to sweep. Pangoro has to be shielding up. It doesn't matter what they throw. Even a Hydro would take the knockout. Pangoro just going to look to try and farm it into Night Slash range. Opponent makes a catch onto Glaring Corsola, but this is what Pangoro wants to throw anyway. That Night Slash, absolutely monster damage. Another Night Slash locked and loaded. This Night Slash will be no shielded. In comes Empoleon. A third Night Slash is available, and there's an Aura Sphere on the Lucario. So this game has already been decided. In comes Lucario, going for the Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere, massive overkill, taking down Shadow Empoleon, and that's a good game. Same leads as last game, Lucario into Glaring Corsola, and once again, a safe switch into Primeape. No answer from the opponent. Primeape could use this as an opportunity to lock in some damage onto that Corsola and begin to ramp up its attack. Opponent sends out Florges, and this is an incredibly important bait out. Florges would be catastrophic for the Pangoro, but boosted Rage Fists are going to do so much damage to that Florges. Florges going to opt for a Trailblaze. I actually think it's a very smart Trailblaze from the opponent, because now they are boosted. That means that when they go for the Chilling Water, this boosted Chilling Water is going to do devastating damage. Lucario barely hanging on. Corsola going to be answered with the Pangoro. Pangoro does resist everything Corsola can throw, so Pangoro is going to not put up a shield. In the back is Diggersby. These quick attacks don't do a lot, and it looks like Pangoro did win charge attack priority tie there. Close combat is going to land on the CMP tie. Shield has to come up from the Pangoro. Pangoro is in a position to sweep, but it will have to reset that defense drop at some point. It's just going to lose too much HP. In comes the Corsola. Corsola immediately going to be under threat from the Night Slash. Night Slash is going to be shielded. There's the switch to Lucario. Lucario can't make the Shadow Ball. How well was the opponent counting? Aura Sphere gets no shielded. The opponent's counts are dead on. Can Pangoro still find a way to sweep? Pangoro's Night Slash is going to be shielded. Can Pangoro survive the Astonishes? Yes, it can. Pangoro 1 HP remaining. I can't believe it. Down goes Corsola. Even with them having perfect counts and no shielding the Aura Sphere, that game still ended in a win. Hopping into the next match, we've got simultaneous safe switches, Glaring Corsola into Primeape. I really like the decision by Shift to safe switch out of here as well, because obviously the two fighters in the back are going to do substantially better into Empoleon than the Bullet Punch Lucario. And this way, the Primeape is not behind on energy in this Corsola matchup. Primeape just going to be spamming Outrage Fist as it loves to do. Corsola can hang on, however. Primeape gonna, oh, was that a turn weight into a CMP tie? I believe that it was. The Rage Fist is shielded. What a beautiful play by Schiff. That is incredible precision. That is very, very well played. And now in comes Pangoro. Pangoro gets an absolutely nasty farm down. In comes Empoleon. Empoleon knows there's just nowhere to run. Close combat's loaded on the Pangoro. Close combat takes the knockout. In the back is Gourgeist. Oh my goodness, that Incinerate is going to have done so much damage to the -2 Pangoro. There's the switch into Lucario. Lucario just needs to get the Shadow Ball, and it's going to get there. That's going to be all she wrote. Good night, Gourgeist. Shadow Ball, one-hit knockout, and these games are incredibly fun. Great lead in the next match. Lucario into Wigglytuff. Opponent safe switches into Sableye. This could get tricky, as Dazzling Gleam Sableye can actually make life very uncomfortable for Pangoro. Pangoro fires out the Night Slash. Opponent's CMP tied. Was that only 6? I think that was only 6. Schiff knows it too. The no shield on the foul play and a catastrophic error from the opponent. They again don't build up. Pangoro again is still going to no shield. And my goodness, this Panda is about to absolutely feast. Pangoro farming up so much energy. Even if you're not running Dazzling Gleam, you absolutely have to build up and pretend that you do. In comes Dusknoir. Pangoro did wait the turn to see if it was Wigglytuff that got brought in there. Night Slash is going to be shielded. There is the switch to Wigglytuff, trying to snipe down Pangoro, but Pangoro able to hold onto its energy, and back in comes Lucario. These bullet punches adding up. Aura Sphere takes the knockout. In comes Dusknoir. Dusknoir, oh my goodness, do they know their Lucario counts? Do they know this can only be an Aura Sphere? Aura Sphere does get no shielded, but that still adds up. In comes Primeape, but the writing's on the wall for this one. Primeape has a charge stack. Pangoro has a charge stack. There's no way out. They shield, and that's a vicious combo play. In comes Pangoro. Pangoro's Night Slash takes the knockout and wins the game with a 2-shield flex. Very bad lead in the next match. Lucario into Jellicent. Unfortunately, Bullet Punch not going to be doing anything there, so an immediate safe switch to Primeape will be required. Primeape boosts itself up with the Rage Fist, but Jellicent is just so efficient to its charge stacks. Primeape, feeling bold, no shields, calls the Surf Bait. This Rage Fist will not knock out the Jellicent, but it will get it very, very low. Jellicent puts up the shield. Oh no, Primeape. Primeape does not survive, and Jellicent farms down. Jellicent exits with so much residual energy. This could get quite tricky. The shield comes up for Pangoro as Jellicent fires off the Surf, but there's more where that came from. An entire Primeape was lost. Both shields were lost as well, and the opponent hasn't even switched out of the lead. Things honestly could not look much more dire than this. Night Slash will take the knockout. No boost for the Pangoro. Opponent sends in Licky Licky. Hold on a second. Maybe there's a chance. Pangoro not messing around, going straight for the close combat. That connects, taking the knockout in the back. Opponent has their own Pangoro, and in comes Lucario. Lucario makes it to the Aura Sphere, and suddenly this game comes down to a 50-50. Who's going to win charge attack priority in the Pangoro mirror? These bullet punches adding up quite a bit. Opponent should just be able to knock out here with a Night Slash. They go for the close combat anyway. Pangoro winning charge attack priority and taking the win. Pangoro with the 8 attack stat. Opponent must have had a good Pangoro, and it ends up costing them the game. Picking up a nice lead in the next match. Lucario into Empoleon. Opponent safe switches into Florges. Trainer, no! They realize their misplay, and they immediately resign the match. Very tough lead in the next match, leading Lucario into a Shadow Dragon Breath Charizard. Charizard beats this entire team, so this is a huge problem. Rage Fist lands on charge attack priority to the Air Cutter, as Charizard can look to boost up. Air Cutter is going to be shielded. They stay on the field. No boost comes through, and Primeape just going to double shield and try for as much Karate Chop damage as it can possibly get. Opponent finally switches out. In comes Marowak, and this is a boosted Primeape. Primeape's also threatening a potential close combat. It is the non-Shadow Marowak, though. The non-Shadow Marowak is going to be taking damage a bit better than the Shadow, but still not well enough that it would ever consider clicking no shield. In comes Pangoro. Pangoro, no Protect Shields left, just as to take this damage. Bone Club lands, devastating damage, but Pangoro will make the close combat. Undercharge on the close combat, hoping to not take the knockout because Pangoro wants farm for the Lucario. If this game will be won, it's going to be on the back of Lucario. The Primeape's just simply too low. Switch timer counts down. In comes Lucario. Back in comes the Charizard. Charizard gets bullet punch down. They don't make a charge attack. Marowak gets punched down as well. Oh no, in the back is Guzzlord. And Lucario has something for Guzzlord. Aura Sphere sending it back to the Pokeball. And that's a good game. Oh, we've got a snow biome now and a very tough lead, leading Lucario into Pangoro. Safe switch Primeape. Primeape just gonna fire off Rage Fist. Opponent will know this can only be a Rage Fist, so they will no shield, but that's still valuable chip damage onto the Pangoro. Primeape calls the bait and pays the price. Devastating damage as close combat connects. Opponent will probably look to pivot out of this matchup, and they do, as in comes a Shadow Drapion. Now, it's Shift's turn not to bait. Full set into close combat. Opponent tries to call the bait as well, and a beautiful catch onto Lucario. Lucario absorbing that Aqua Tail, but it still does over half of its HP. In the back is Corviknight, and this is not looking good, because Corviknight should be able to just commit to a full farm down and just completely overwhelm the Panda with energy. Lucario has to make an Aura Sphere, or it's not gonna win, and it can't. And there's just too much energy on this Corviknight. There's no path forward in this game. Pangoro no shields, Air Cutter, puts the Panda too low, and Shift will resign the match. Terrible lead in the next match. Lucario into Gastrodon. A safe switch into Primeape. Gastrodon gonna stay on the field, and Primeape will get to ramp up its attack with the Rage Fist. Opponent, no shields, calling that it's not a close combat. They undertap a Body Slam, they throw it on alignment, and for Primeape, that's a very safe no shield. Primeape makes it to a +1 Rage Fist. Opponent, if they want switch advantage, they're gonna have to put up a shield, and they do just that. They pivot into Empoleon, and now Empoleon's gonna get crushed by Pangoro. Opponent may have realized their Empoleon's not going to have a lot of value in this game, so they kind of just throw it away. Pangoro going to look to massively overfarm, farming to the back-to-back Night Slashes. This way, the opponent can't even cap tie. It's just going to take the knockout. Are they going to bring back in the Gastrodon, or will we see the third? The third is Furret, and we already know from the thumbnail, if you Furret, you lose against this team. Furret Swift gets caught onto Lucario, back in comes the Gastrodon. Gastrodon looking for a farm down and gets it, but there's all the Pangoro energy that anyone could ever want. The back-to-back Night Slashes are loaded, the shield comes up, but it's too little, too late. Gastrodon losing charge attack priority. Night Slash take the knockout, bring back in that Furret. Furret's about to get absolutely destroyed by a close combat. Shift not even throwing the close combat yet. He's dragging this game out. He's farming up to the back-to-back close combats. The zero bubble as well. Say it ain't so. The no bubble close combat still knocks out the Furret. And that's a good game. Terrible lead in the next match, leading Lucario into Shadow Quagsire. Safe switch Primeape able to outpace and fire off this Rage Fist. And Rage Fist will be landing as the opponent sends in Goodra. Goodra really not going to appreciate a +1 Ice Punch. Ice Punch is going to do a substantial amount of damage, but Goodra puts up the shield, and Goodra actually did play to the CMP tie. Aqua Tail is going to land, getting Primeape low. Primeape would love another charge attack, but it just simply does not have the HP. In comes Lucario, and this is Lucario's opportunity to farm up a ton of energy. Lucario absorbs the Aqua Tail. It really doesn't like the fact that it has to take this damage, though, because Lucario, a second Aqua Tail would easily knock out, so it's forced to give back that shield. In comes Quagsire. What a perfect prediction, reading the opponent with Trident combo and taking the knockout with the Aura Sphere. Devastating damage. In the back is Shadow Abomasnow, and this Abomasnow is about to get absolutely shredded. The triple fighter team, there's nowhere for Abomasnow to run. Abomasnow, these Powder Snows are adding up quite a bit, but look at the damage from Karate Chop. Icy Wind lands, Pangoro gets farmed down, but this just sets up Lucario. Lucario gets the full farm down. All that's left is the Goodra. Again, the no bubble. Wait, hold on. He actually hit the bubbles. He thought about no bubbling and then said, you know what? I'm going to actually hit these Aura Sphere bubbles and take the win. A familiar lead in the final match, Lucario into Corsola one final time. Safe switch Primeape gonna be luring out Florges, and with a Pangoro in the back, that is an absolute must. The opponent shields the first charge stack, which is an absolutely massive surprise, and I think it's a pretty big misplay from them. There's no reason for the Florges to shield the first. I do like their decision to go for the Trailblaze, but they always could have no shielded the first. They end up double shielding. If there's one thing you don't want to do against Lucario, it's giving it a 2-shield advantage. Lucario can double shield, farm down, have all the energy in the world. Opponent realizes their mistake. They're forced to pivot out. They send in the Corsola, but now Corsola is switch locked into the Pangoro. Night Slash lands. Pangoro still not getting any boost, but it has not really mattered in these games. Nightshade gonna land. Pangoro not too worried about a Nightshade. They look to farm up quite a bit of energy. Now Pangoro has to decide, is it worth the final shield? Pangoro says yes, switch timer will be up soon. Opponent still does have a very healthy Florges. Florges has reset their Trailblaze boost. There's the switch into Lucario in the back. Opponent has a Furret. Let's go. Furret is just the automatic win con for this team. If you see a Furret, the game is over. Aura Sphere taking knockouts left, right, and center. Down goes Furret. Down goes Florges. It looks like the opponent in their frustration force closed out of their app. And that is a good game. All in all, these were some extremely fun battles, so many thanks to Shift for sending them in. I do really like Furret as a Pokemon, but you definitely see it in a lot of Open Great League battles. So when it comes to trying to build a Spice team for the interlude season, I think it's a very creative choice to try and pick a certain meta Pokemon and then try and craft a bit of a balanced team, with Lucario being obviously the anti-fairy, and then the two fighters in the back that are weak to fairy, even though all three do have the fighting typing, and then just saying, you know what, I'm going to try and hard counter Furret, where no matter how dire the situation can be, if they have a Furret on their team, I'm probably in a pretty good spot. As I mentioned at the start, this is more of a team for fun than for climbing. These mono-type teams, even though he was able to get a lot of wins with it, are typically not the most stable teams, because obviously, when you have three Pokemon that share the same typing, there are going to be some pretty difficult matchups. Like a Talonflame, for example, would probably just 1v3 this team. Like fully, I mean, a Shadow Talonflame probably just doesn't even switch out. It just flame charges through the entire team, and you never even see Pokemon 2 and 3. So that's why teams like this aren't teams for climbing. But man, these were some extremely entertaining battles, and many Furrets got Aura Sphered into oblivion. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not. And an extra special thank you, as always, to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. Thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.